You work hard to build your business. Be sure you're protecting it. Rock Solid Financial is the top insurance and financial literacy firm for small business owners. We specialize in small business funding consulting, credit repair advisement, business credit acquisition, strategic uses of life insurance products for protecting and cash flowing a business, and strategies for entrepreneurs to create tax-free retirement savings. No matter what stage you're at, no matter if you're a solopreneur, a small business owner, or somewhere in between, we can help. Visit www.rocksolidfinancial.co/advice to book a free consultation and learn how we can help you to protect you and your business.
Hey everybody, it's TANISHA COFFEY, aka the Lofty Entrepreneur, as well as with Rock Solid Financial, and you are joining me for another episode of the Lofty Entrepreneur podcast. Now tonight, we have a very special guest for you. He is going to talk about one of the most sought after things for an entrepreneur, that is business credit. Now, as we have our conversation tonight, I want you to be sure to break out a pen, some paper, and take notes, because he's going to be dropping some nuggets on you that will help you to really realize it's not as challenging as you think. So I want to go ahead and invite him into the broadcast. Hi, Rick. How are you?
Hey, TANISHA, how are you today? Thanks for having me.
Good. I'm doing amazing. So you have a wealth of knowledge that you can share. Your past, I believe it was 40 years, and kind of like the financial. I know you started when you started with 30. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you started when you were like in the playpen, telling your mom and dad,
exactly,
like, hey.
Exactly. Yes.
But tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Keller. Again, I'm originally from New York. I live here in Florida now, sunny Florida. And my background has always been, I worked on Wall Street in sales and trading, doing something nobody ever heard of until 2007, which was called mortgage-backed securities and structured product and derivatives and that type of thing. And now I work for a firm called Galt, and what we do is we help businesses establish credit under their business EIN or their business tax identification number, which is another name for it.
Right. So I want to, I have the people who watch these are at various levels of understanding, different levels of where they are in their business. So I want to take some time to kind of unpack it for the newbies. And then as we go on, we'll delve a little bit deeper for those who are a little further along. So the first thing I want to talk about is business credit versus a business line of credit. Can you help people understand the difference between those two?
Yeah. Okay. Usually in order to get a line of credit, you need to have business credit. So let's just say that you go to a bank and you're looking for a loan from your bank. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to give you the loan, or if they do give you the loan, they're going to ask you to personally guarantee that or put up collateral using your own personal Social Security number. Now, once you establish credit under your business, then you can go out and seek a line of credit.
And then what about, and it's the same way with if they were looking for like a business credit card as well.
Yes, exactly. I mean, once, and I don't know how far you want to get into it, with this question, but business credit is unlike personal credit in the sense that every time you use your credit card, every time you make a payment to your cable bill, your light bill, everything gets reported. Now, on the business side, that is not the case. Only 7% actually report to the credit agencies, which are being Experian and Equifax and Dun & Bradstreet. Okay. And with that, so some people might have a loan from the bank, or they might have a loan of credit from maybe what's the word I'm looking for? One of their trade partners. But if that does not report, you don't have credit and you're not building credit.
Right. Okay. So that's a really important thing to think about, because sometimes people believe that, oh, I have a business loan, so I'm building credit, or I have this credit card from XYZ company that is has my business name on it. But that's not always actually building you business credit. And so let's tap into that. So when people
Sure.
are wanting to actually say, okay, I don't want to put things for the business on my, personal credit anymore. I have aspirations of being able to do more and tapping into the whole notion of other people's money. So
Using my
what are
favorite term.
yes, there you go. So like what are one of the first steps that they should be taking to prepare to be even eligible to do business credit?
Okay, well, in that sense, I mean, number one is obviously you have to set up the business. I talk to a lot of people who don't even do that. Okay, it's very simple to get an EIN number. I got to tell you, I think that I did mine through LegalZoom. I think it cost me a few $100, and I got it within a day. It's very simple. They take care of all the work. And once you have that, again, it's called an EIN, or tax identification number, for the business. Again, that's a separate entity, and you can actually build credit off of that. It's like having another person with you.
Right,
I like
right.
to say that it's a partner in your business that can absorb risk.
Right. So I know one of the questions that I've had come in had to be about the structure of the business that's required, but you kind of just answered that. It's not that you have to be a corporation or S corporation, or even a necessarily an LLC, right? Because that EIN is what was that key factor that you need.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay.
Now, I mean, I've just spoken to a few people yesterday, and they have an EIN, and they're what they call solopreneurs. Okay,
Mhm.
and usually I don't get into this, and I'm not an
Sole
attorney,
proprietors.
and
Right.
I am not espousing anything in terms of this. My understanding is that you're when you have a solopreneur, you're still opening yourself to risk. Okay, in
Mhm.
terms of business risk. Now, if the business goes out, you have some issues, you're liable for that personally. Okay,
Right.
that's why it's important to set up something like an LLC, which is the first step. I mean, I have a conversation with your CPA, of course, and find out what works best for you for tax purposes.
Mhm.
But in terms of starting a business, and let's just go back to that. Look, when you start a business, you have to have a good attorney.
Mhm.
You have to have a good CPA. And like any good foundation, you have to start credit. I talk to so many people who are looking for money, that need cash, they need an injection, they don't have any credit. And it's very, very difficult to get money when you need it. So the whole
Mhm.
idea is preparing yourself, making sure that you have this as a good foundation, and you may not need it now, but build the credit, and someday something might happen. This is business. Nobody ever thought that the biggest Wall Street firms would go out, who had billions in assets,
Right.
but they did. And you never know when something's going to happen, and you might need cash. At least you can have it available to you.
Mhm. So we're going to go down that road a little bit further
Okay,
in
I'm
just
not
a
too far.
second.
I don't know where down the road is with you, so.
Stay tuned. You never know with me. So what I wanted to ask about was, you mentioned about the different credit bureaus. So you mentioned
Mhm.
Experian, Equifax, and then you mentioned Duns and Bradstreet.
Correct.
And that's one that a lot of people, they've heard of it, the Duns number and all this, but I don't think people really understand the role that the Duns number plays in this, and all that. Can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, look, it's the one that really everybody looks at, and then the other two just as well. Look, you're going to have all three. You just can't have a great dunce number and not have an Experian and what have you. They give you a lot of information. I think I sent you a video yesterday, and if you really look at how it correlates everything, and then it reports everything, and it's really a microcosm of your business. Somebody can actually go in and look at your business and give the details of it. There's also recommendations that they might give in terms of what your potential borrowing is. Okay. So if you take my services, one of the things that we do is we get you set up with all credit bureaus, and we make sure that the payments that we work with you on all get reported, and you can track that on a dashboard.
So that's one of the important things that we're talking about today. So number one, it's not so hard to do, right?
It's easier to gain credit for business. It's not like personal. It's faster and easier to get. So between 9 months and a year, we can get you. Now, business credit, it runs a little bit differently than personal credit. So it runs on a scale of 0 to 100. So what we do is we work with you to get to 80 and above, which is great credit, and where you can stand on your own and you could go to the banks, or you could go and set up lines of credit. We have 1,200 lenders on the platform, where they have to give us their underwriting guidelines, so we know you're not going to get turned down.
And so basically, for those of you who are listening or watching right now, the point is that as soon as you open the doors to your business, we talked a little bit about, kind of the structures, the sole proprietor versus the LLC, S Corp, corporation. Check with your lawyer, okay? Neither one of us are lawyers about that. I will put a link in the description to a service that I am aware of that I know will help walk you through and give you access to the attorneys to help give you advice on that. If you have an accountant, yes, that's a great person to bring in. But if you don't, at least, check with the attorneys to see what's right for you. Those structures help you with the liability. As a sole proprietor, you're not protected. Everything is connected to you. LLC, as you move up, you get more and more protection and more separation of the business entity between yourself and the business entity. So that's why there's different ones, but each one of them have their own rules. But when it comes to business credit, it doesn't matter as much. And the key is that once you at least have that established, at least you have your EIN, then you can start building your credit, which for those of you, if you're listening, that means right now, if you've got your EIN, guess what? Right now, if you're listening right now, you can go to irs.gov and get an EIN. You don't even have to, use a service. You literally can do it and have that number in minutes.
Right.
And then you can reach out to Rick and get started on building your business credit, right?
Exactly. So go ahead.
So I was going to say, so to me, one of the toughest things when it comes to building business credit is, for me, one of the misconceptions was, when I got that first credit card, I won't name the vendor, I was thinking, oh yeah, I've got business credit, but it was on my credit. So it really didn't help me initially build. And so one of the best things I think about what you guys do, there's a lot, is that you actually have, you can tell people where to go to start. And having those underwriting guidelines is critical, because you know exactly what they're looking for. And okay, we're not going to send you this way because, they're looking for X, Y, Z, and you don't have that yet. And I think that's a huge advantage for anyone looking to build that credit fast, so you don't start kind of messing yourself up and get discouraged. Would you agree?
Right. And the other things, if you go to a bank and you fill out all the paperwork, blah, 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 it doesn't happen overnight. At least we know going in whether you're going to be, accepted or not. So that's a big advantage and a time saver as well. That doesn't mean you can't go down to your local bank. I'm just saying that it's easier and quicker to do it this way. Now, again, it is, and you mentioned it earlier, where when you open up a bank account for the business, which you obviously can, right, off the EIN number, like you can personally, they will give you the card and they'll put your business name on there. And as you mentioned before, it's not business credit. That's on you. That's on you. But as you go through the steps and we bring you to good credit, you will then be able to get American Express cards and Visa cards with credit limits under your business, under that EIN number.
Right.
So that opens up the doors to many things for your business.
Right. And so I want to set some expectations for people, right?
Mhm.
Because business credit is different than a business loan. Business loan, people tend to go in, with a certain amount that they are wanting to get and that they're asking for, right? They may say, I need a $10,000 loan, 2,500, whatever that number is. And that's what you're applying for. But when it comes to business credit, you're not able to kind of meet those types of demands. So let's start off kind of helping people to understand what they should expect or may be able to expect when they're getting their first lines of credit, and then how that progresses as they continue to build credit.
Yeah, look, it's like anything. When you get your first credit card, you're 18 or whatever it is, you're out of school, and they give you like a $400 limit, and then you spend it and you start paying, and that's how it works, And maybe you get a gas card and you start making those payments, and it's building, right? You're creating a history. So the whole idea is to do that on the business side, but we could do it quicker. Because we know the people that are going to report, and we can help you build the history. So one of the cool things is that with us, it's a dashboard that you can track and make your payments and what have you. But we also assign you a business analyst and a credit analyst that's going to help you work through these stages, and will help you with advice along the way.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say for an ideal point in a person's business for them to start, right? So you have
You
new
mentioned it
businesses.
earlier, right? Then
go ahead and get it going.
Go out, get your bank account, and start from there.
Okay. Now, with your particular setup with Galt Finance Suite, tell us a little bit more about, you told us about the dashboard and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You told us about 8 to 9 months, but the strategy behind it in general is to start tapping into credit, because a lot of times people will think about credit, they want the loans because they want the money, but they'll think about credit and they shy away from the notion of building credit because they don't want to have the debt. But talk about how building business credit can help you to scale, because there's a lot of people who are on that end of the spectrum who see, I want to scale in a year or two. What role does that play?
Well, in terms of scaling up, and you had mentioned it earlier, the whole idea of using somebody else's money, okay, OPM, other people's money, and if you use your credit wisely, a lot of people shy away from it because they think it's debt. Well, there's good debt and there's bad debt. Okay, good debt is the debt that you are taking on to help you leverage to build your business. Now, one of the things that we have, again, is the business analyst and the credit analyst, and they're going to help you look ahead. Okay, we offer something that's called cash flow management, cash flow mapping. And so what it is giving you a future idea of what you're going to be bringing in and how you should spend. Now, let's just say and every business is different in how they might need it, right? A restaurant is different than somebody who has an inventory, or somebody who needs it for, let's say, cash flow purposes. There's a gap between when they're getting paid from somebody and when they have to pay something, right? If you always dip it into your own pocket, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. So the whole idea is to have all of these things available to you so it's seamless and your organization is working smoothly. Okay, right. You don't want to get to the point where, oh my goodness, I'm stuck. And then, it's really hard to go get yourself a loan when you really need it.
Right. Now,
so I look at it as, and I always say this, that it's cheap insurance. It truly is. Okay, because again, it's a risk. Whatever it is, you don't know what the risks are down the pipe. Okay, but your whole idea is to try to stay in business and have money available to you when you need it.
Right.
Nobody saw COVID coming. Recession. We're talking about recession now, inflation. Look, there's a lot of pressures out there on businesses now, and all we're trying to do is really just give an equal playing field to Main Street that Wall Street has.
Mm-hmm. Let's take it full circle, because when we first started this talk, we talked a little bit about business loans and people going into banks and business owners going into banks trying to get the loan, getting denied because they're trying to do it on their own personal credit. So in a situation where you have the business credit, you've spent that 9 to 12 months, whatever it is, starting to build that business credit. Now, a year later, you walk into the bank and you're asking for a loan. Are they more likely to get it?
Yes, because again, they're going to look at the company itself and not you. So the cool part about it is you could have a worst personal credit in the world and have great business credit, and neither two shall meet. They're separate. Totally. That's the whole idea. You set up an LLC, you set up whatever the other corporations are for a reason, right? Well, if you only do it halfway, meaning that legally, yeah, you are, but you're putting your own money into it, or you're putting your house up for collateral, that's not separating anything, right?
No.
So that's why I call it cheap insurance. You pay for it once, you start paying your bills, it's easy, you build it up, and that's it. And you pay for the service once. Where you're going to have business insurance, and I'm sure you have insurance on your lease or the building that you're in. It's the cheapest thing out there.
And I have to throw in here. So, we're talking a lot about the business credit, and yes, business credit is separate from your personal credit. However, don't not fix your personal credit, just because of the business, because there are strategies that you can use, from the insurance side of things, right? So,
right. Exactly.
to then elevate. So we're talking about kind of the notion of other people's money strategies. Well, there are strategies that you can utilize when you have, say lump sum money, or you can commit to a certain amount of money to put into strategies that you can then use insurance products to then multiply, amplify your access to money and your earnings on those money. But guess what? Insurance products do take your credit into consideration. So if you really want to be, ready to level up and truly scale and truly tap into the power of other people's monies, then you're going to combine all of these strategies, the business credit, then going to get the loan, then coming to see somebody like me for, those advanced insurance strategies for amplifying that money, and your personal credit still matters. So, these are things that you got to.
And it was going to lead into you, though, by the way. I like that too. But it's so true. I mean, look, once you have this, and we talked about it earlier, it's a building foundation. And once you build a good foundation, then you can employ other strategies, right? And it's very simple.
Absolutely.
I forget what I was going to say to you, but the whole idea of insurance, I like using that because I think that it really hits home to people.
Mm-hmm. And even with your services, you do have access to, you're not a lender, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Not a lender.
You do have
we can just help you get there.
You have access to connect people. So even at that, like building the business credit, can help you to obviously just tap into that. When you get ready for loans, this particular company, Galt, can help you to, kind of apply for those. But even if the lender said that the business credit, they still wanted some additional collateral, again, that's where the insurance strategies can come into play.
Right.
Yours
exactly.
don't require that?
No, look, if they ask for it, they shouldn't, because your business should stand on your own. If you have a good credit score, they shouldn't ask for it. And it's actually funny because I've been meeting with some loan people at the banks, and they're giving me leads because they're turning down all of these people. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll take them, I'll clean them up, give them a good credit, I'll send them back to you, or they'll have that option to go back to you. So, right. That's going to help you as well. So, the whole idea is really just to educate everybody and just to make sure that they understand something. And I'm here to walk anybody through it.
So if you had to leave the audience with one kind of main notion, one thought, one kind of call to action regarding, building their business, scaling their business, and business credit, what would it be?
Wow. I mean, I don't know if I could say that in a minute or so, but I think that again, it's important just to set the good foundation. I'll keep saying that because everything flows from that. Okay, and anything you want to do as a business can grow from there. You're gonna have again access to your attorney, to your CPA. The people that work for us, they're there to help you and guide you through this. And they're available to you. It's not 24 hours, but somebody will get back to you as soon as they can if you have a question. So the whole idea is to really just protect yourself, and protect yourself and get the money that you really need to help your business and help your business grow, because that's what this economy is all about. Okay. There's the whole idea of a Main Street, the HVAC people, the plumbers, the shops on the street, not on the street, but the storefronts. It's those people that need this. And I think that sometimes people just kind of get lazy and they're constantly running after different things because they're wearing many different hats. And I think sometimes you really got to sit back and say, okay, where is this going? What am I doing? Where do I want to be in 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
And it's part of the plan. It's just got to be part of the plan.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Rick, I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. I truly appreciate you. For those who you are listening and watching, all right, if you want to connect with Rick to get a jump start on your credit, I am going to include all of his information in the description below. But Rick, I also want you to go ahead and verbally go ahead and give them your email address so they can reach out to you directly, and your phone number if you'd like to do so. Yeah,
sure. Obviously, there's two ways you can get me. That's me, RKeller at Galt, G-A-L-T, .io. Yep. I always have to think of it because it's a new designation. And I always want to say com. And you can always reach me on my cell phone number. It's 704-745-8092. I would say text beforehand. Tell me what you need, and I'll make time for you as soon as I can.
Awesome. Awesome. And for those of you who are looking for strategies for your business, you can reach out to me. If it's more so about building your business, marketing your business, then go to www.thelofttyentrepreneur.com/discovery call. But if you want to chat a little bit about those strategies that you can use on the insurance side, then I want you to go to www.rocksolidfinancial.co/advice. All right, guys, until next time.
I got two things to add to that, okay, if you don't mind. Okay,
absolutely.
Is that during the first year, we guarantee you at least $50,000 in credit or more. Okay, you take these steps, not very hard. We walk you through it. The other thing too, and it leads into something that you do, is that we're going to give you a business evaluation. Okay, what your business is worth, and I think that that's very important on your end in terms of insurance, if I'm not mistaken.
It definitely can play into it. It definitely can play into it. So that's a nice little tidbit, guys. Okay, so imagine you are, right now you're sitting in your home and you're thinking about, man, what am I going to do with my business, a year from now? What if the recession does come into play? Well, how am I going to handle it? What if another pandemic hits? Or maybe you've been through the pandemic and it was a bit of a rough time because financially, you were not covered, whether it's from literally, the cash flow side, whether it's from the insurance side, both can be, part of your cash flow equation. This is the time to act. So a year from now, you get started with the business credit, you could have access to $50K. That doesn't mean you have to use it.
Exactly.
But that access just in case. How different could business be for you? So be sure to connect with both of us. Look for us on social media. Look for us, and our information in the descriptions below, and we will be happy to help you any way we can. Thank you again, Rick. I truly appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, Tanisha. It's been my pleasure. Love working with you. You're the best.
Thank you.